Hello everyone! Welcome to Messy Hearts, where we help people who seek advice for their troubled relationships and lives. Listen carefully and share your experience down in the comments below to help those who seek it. We hope you enjoy. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let's head on to the first story. Story 1. My wife is having a meltdown over our daughter's personality and I don't know what to do. What should I do? I'm a 34-year-old guy and I have a 16-year-old stepdaughter. My wife is 31. In high school, my wife was a popular girl stereotype. Pink, blonde, chunky highlights in her brown hair. This was the mid-late 2000s. She was on the cheerleading team, had lots of friends and boyfriends, was well known and liked. She was basically the living embodiment of the picture-perfect girl from those cheesy 2000s high school movies. And then she got pregnant. When she was 15, she had her daughter. She doesn't know who the father is, and any potential fathers for the girl up and left way back when. Her daughter is recently 16. I never wanted kids, I found them annoying. But I fell in love with my wife and got married when she was 20 and I was 23 after dating for 2 years. We hit it off and I married her and decided to suck it up around the kid. I never planned to absolutely love being a dad to her specifically. Kids still annoy me, but my daughter, stepdaughter technically, was different. She was quiet, nerdy even at a young age. I married her mother when she was 5 and we clicked right away. We went on daddy-daughter dates every weekend. I played dolls with her. Let her paint my nails and do makeup on me. I drove her to and from school in my cop car. We even did daddy-daughter duo costumes for Halloween. Over the past 2 years, she's developed a darker dress style. I don't know what the proper subculture of her outfits are, but according to her, she's dressing like a horror game protagonist and a Monster High character. Purple is her main color she incorporates into this specific aesthetic blend, as she calls it. I don't get it, but maybe that's because I'm a man in my 30s, I don't know. She likes ghosts, tarot cards, vampires, zombies, aliens, creepy Victorian dolls. I don't get it, but also I don't care because if it makes her happy, so what? She's also an introvert and prefers to play games on her computer or read fantasy occult novels rather than hang out with other teens her age. She has friends, so I'm not too worried about her being completely withdrawn. I'm just glad I don't have to drive her around since she only has a learner's permit currently. My wife hates this. My wife always wanted a girly girl. Pinks and pastels and flowers and all that. She wants our daughter to get a boyfriend, be more social, be a cheerleader like she was. Which in itself is valid. I get it, I'm sure most every parent has preferences for what they want their kid to turn out like, and some disappointment when they stray from that fantasy is valid. My wife will constantly takes and hides my daughter's darker room decor. She constantly gets pastel dresses for our daughter, tells her to wipe off her dark eye makeup, tries to set her up on dates with jock types from my daughter's school, and convince her to sign up for both school and summer activities like cheerleading or volleyball. I could have put up with all of that, I really could have. But a few weeks ago I woke up to my wife finally hitting her breaking point. I woke up in the middle of the night to my wife screaming and having what I can confidently describe as a borderline meltdown. She was crying and saying all she ever wanted was a normal daughter who likes pink, and is a cheerleader and has a boyfriend and will give her grandkids. I had to drag her out the hallway after 30 minutes of this. I kept thinking it would stop, but it kept going on and on. My daughter was just staring at this whole thing in the doorway of her room. What caused this meltdown from my wife? My daughter dyed purple over the blonde streaks/highlights my wife had forced her to get in her hair. Which wasn't even breaking a house rule, as my wife and I have both told her she can do whatever she wants with her hair as long as she doesn't stain too many towels. It's been weeks and my daughter won't talk to her mom. My wife is still up with her antics, but now it's in overdrive. Every day she brings home some type of trendy clothing in pink or pastels and tries to give it to my daughter. My daughter is getting fed up and stays in her room all day, and has confessed to me she can't wait for school to start back up in a few weeks so she can get out the house and be with her friends again. I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I don't want to side with anyone in this situation. I understand my wife wants a daughter who she can relate, and my daughter wants a mom who understands her. I don't know what I can or should do. I need help. I need advice. What advice would you give about this story? Let us know in the comments, and let's move on to the next story. Story 2. My wife and her family are obsessed with the idea that if her older sister was alive, I would be with her instead. I'm worried about her. How can I help? My wife and I, 33M, have been married for almost 2 years now, and we have a little baby boy. I love my wife more than my own life, and I believe that in any lifetime I would still find her and fall in love with her. My wife had an older sister, Mia, that passed away at 11 months old from a landslide collapsing on their home. She died before my wife was born. They're the only 2 daughters in a family of boys. When I met her family for the first time, everyone was nice, but it got weird when all they would talk about was their late daughter. My uncle even showed me photo albums of Mia, which took about 2 hours to get through. I never thought anything of it then, and as much as I loved getting to know my wife's family, I would be more interested in seeing baby photos of my wife, but I just brushed it off. At dinner, they wouldn't stop talking about how if Mia was alive, she would be smarter or even prettier than my wife. I would look at my wife when they said those things, but she would just agree with them. When we got married, the whole process was filled with Mia would love this, Mia would look great in this, Mia would be more buxom than wife's name, her grandma. My wife would nod and agree each time they said something like this, that even my mother felt something was wrong. I talked to her before about this, and she said, I know she's barely lived, but I know if she was alive she would be so beautiful, smart. I know deep down if you met her, you would love her and not me. I had to trick her to get into therapy because something was definitely wrong and maybe she was brainwashed. Life was great for 2 years since we moved 8 hours away from my in-laws for my job, but since my BL just got engaged, my wife is involved in the planning, and just like they did at our wedding, they wanted to plan a memorial for Mia, which is totally fine. Except that they weren't including her grandparents that had recently died, lived full lives, and gave them a hefty amount of inheritance. It wasn't my place, so I remained quiet, but now my wife's starting to say those self-deprecating things about her in comparison to Mia again. During the engagement party, everyone was gushing over my son about how cute he was and that thank God he took after me. My wife has brown eyes and I have blue eyes. My boy has got the biggest brown eyes that makes me want to stare into them for hours. Yet her mom said, "It's a shame he didn't get your eyes though. If this was Mia's child, he would definitely have blue eyes too since hers is blue." It took all of me to not roll my eyes, but I just said, "Wife's name has the most beautiful eyes I have ever seen, and I thank God every day that my son has them." She took that as an awe moment and said, "If Mia was alive, I'm sure I would be holding her baby with you now. You would love her very much." I wanted to freaking shout at her, but I always remind myself that people grieve differently and as long as they need to, but am pissed that she keeps her dead daughter on a pedestal but ignores and belittles her living, breathing one. Edit to add. My wife has been in individual therapy for more than 2 years, but she cut back on some hours after we moved since she felt a lot better. I always tell my wife that I would always choose her and that she deserves even better than me. My wife's 2 younger brothers that were born after Mia's passing also feel weird about all the Mia comments, but often kept quiet about it. BC, when they would defend my wife when they were younger, Maya would get emotional and go on a hunger strike. Both of my younger Bill were never compared to Mia. Do you have any advice on this one? Comment down below and let's move on into the third story. Story 3. My wife has become a fashion victim. Can I do anything about this? Normally my position on my wife's outfits is she can wear whatever she wants. If she's happy, then I'm happy. But her clothing choices in the last few years have been so weird, and she doesn't seem happy with them herself. She says things like, "Why do I look so old?" And I say something reassuring, but I won't say, "Because you're wearing a 70-year-old woman's shirt." She asks my opinions on her outfits and shopping baskets, and I'm lost for words. Like, no, I don't think a brown acrylic sack is a nice piece of clothing. These fast fashion items fall apart, they're shapeless, the fabrics are awful polyester or acrylic, I hate having to be positive about them. Her current style seems like a mishmash from social media ads. Streetwear, earth tones, pastels, minimalism, bold patterns, throwback preppy details. When I see the ads she watches, the models who are pulling off these outfits are professionally styled. They also use balanced combinations like balanced tones, baggy with fitted, formal with casual, and makeup to match. I figured she just needed time to learn a new style, but it's been years. Some of the items are so out there I don't like being with her in public, like her pastel jumpsuit with bows on it, or her woolen sweater with peekaboo sides. I'm sure they can look good when styled well, but she's always rushing out the door and just combines them with the first clean thing she finds. I've gently asked things like, how did the model wear this/style this, when she's dissatisfied with how something looks. She's very sensitive to other people's opinions, so it's hard to phrase things in a way that isn't enthusiastic approval without her taking it as criticism. She will criticize my outfits if she thinks I look sloppy, but woe betide me if I say, when trying to think of a response about a shirt. I'm not a guy who puts zero effort into my own appearance and then expects my wife to look dolled up 24/7. I have a low-maintenance style, but it works because I planned it. But she seems to want low effort with maximum style. I'm tired of her asking my opinion when she doesn't want to hear any advice. She complains she has nothing to wear, while her closet is full to bursting. I gave her most of my closet space to see if that would help her organize. I've encouraged her to spend more money on buying from proper labels. Ideally, I would just hire her a stylist and they can buy a whole new wardrobe, but that would cost several thousands. I just want her to pay attention to what she buys so she stops looking like she got dressed in the dark. Is there anything I can do about this, or do I just continue on as I am and hope for the best? Thank you for watching. All advice is welcomed and will help these people to resolve the things that trouble them. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what you think. And never forget that your smile is your best feature. Wear it proudly.